Coming up, we learned about Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital's medical outreach program in the Philippines. We meet a group of cancer patients who decided to live life to the fullest by cycling across Taiwan once every year. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. The Taiwan-based Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital is collaborating with the Philippines government to run a 3-year medical and public health program in Quezon City's Barangay Tatalan. Part of this initiative aims to provide free hepatitis A vaccines for 2,000 local children, with the first series inoculation taking place at the Tatalan Health Centers on November 17th. This cooperation will go a long way in ensuring that the health and well-being of underprivileged children is looked after. Here's more.
It is mostly children here at the Tatalan Health Center, and they are here for one reason. As part of a 3-year medical and public health program, the Taiwan-based Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital is working with the local government to provide 2,000 children aged 3 to 5 with a hepatitis A vaccine.
It's the first time. It's the Tzu Chi Foundation.
This is our first time working with an NGO. The Tzu Chi Foundation is the first group to provide a hepatitis A vaccine.
The first series of inoculations took place at Barangay Tatalan in Quezon City. Hepatitis A is most common in areas with poor sanitary conditions and is usually transmitted through contaminated food or water. The average incubation period is about 45 days, and nearly all patients recover completely with no long-term effects. Only an extremely small number of people die from severe hepatitis A infection.
We got here very early for the free vaccination. We were here before sunrise.
Not wanting to miss the opportunity to receive a free vaccination, residents woke up at the crack of dawn to stand in line at the health center with their children. 2 doses of hepatitis A vaccine is needed to prevent infection. However, this is something many families simply cannot afford.
Very good. Thank you for providing us with free vaccine.
We are so thankful to the Tzu Chi Foundation for providing free inoculations for the residents of Barangay Tatalan. It has been a huge help to us, as not everyone can afford the vaccine.
Perhaps it was knowing that the vaccine was not easy to get. Children put up a brave front and tried their best to hold back their tears. In a place where medical access is scarce, the vaccine is a saving grace for children of Quezon City.
In Indonesia, to celebrate the Tzu Chi Singkawang Liaison Office 4th anniversary in November, Tzu Chi volunteers held a free clinic aimed at safeguarding the health of local seniors. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, volunteers also marked their chapter's 20th anniversary by holding a free clinic in Marikina City. The large-scale free clinic sought the joint collaboration of TIMA doctors from Taiwan as well as Philippines TIMA members.
It's early morning here in the Philippines, and residents are already lined up waiting for the start of Tzu Chi's free clinic in Marikina City. Seeing a baby with a tumor as big as her head, TIMA doctors from Taiwan are distraught at not being able to offer more help.
We really want to be able to help, but in this setting, it's really not feasible, and that breaks our hearts.
The tumor continues to get bigger as my daughter gets older. We really hope she can have surgery soon to remove it.
Pediatrician Dr. Nancy Diaz spent a day traveling to reach Marikina City from Luzon Island's Bicol region.
Treating patients here is really fulfilling. I have witnessed firsthand how many poor residents need medical attention.
Marikina Vice Mayor Jose Fabian Cadiz also seized the chance to get back to his roots and treated a few lucky patients. At the conclusion of the free clinic, 132 medical staff saw over 1,800 patients. Meanwhile, in Singkawang, Indonesia, seniors wait patiently for their turn to see a doctor at today's free clinic.
My tooth and stomach hurt. My child brought me here. I've never been to a free clinic before. I've only had the examination. I haven't been given medication.
To celebrate Tzu Chi Singkawang Liaison Office's 4th birthday, volunteers conducted a free clinic to mark the occasion.
There are many doctors from Singkawan that volunteer their services this time. Most of them want to join TIMA so they may help more needy residents.
Helping over 100 seniors at the free clinic included Tzu Chi volunteers, Tzu Chis, and even a doctor from the Indonesian National Armed Forces.
Tzu Chi's free clinics are very well-rounded. Not only do they offer medication, but there are also follow-up visits and specialists. I think these medical services help the poor and sick immensely.
At the conclusion of the free clinic, Tzu Chi volunteers gathered at the liaison office, where volunteer Tetiono spoke a few words in gratitude.
A big thanks for the volunteers' contribution and their assistance in spreading and nurturing the seeds of compassion. I hope our good deeds inspire all sentient beings to further contribute their love as well. I wish Tzu Chi Singkawan Liaison Office a happy 4th birthday.
Hand in hand, Tzu Chi volunteers and TIMA members weave a web of love to safeguard the health of the poor and the sick.
In Kedah, Malaysia, 3 tornadoes since mid-October wreak havoc in Alor Setor, affecting the lives of 16 families. Following the storm, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived to survey the needs of the survivors while bringing consolation cash as well as their blessings. Here's more.
This was not what the calm and peaceful village looked like the day before. Since mid-October, Alor Setor in Kedah has been struck by 3 tornadoes, affecting a total of 16 families living in Kampung Sungai Nonang. Following the storm, volunteers carried out a disaster assessment in the area.
Dia tak zinc dia buang pada depan semua terbang dalam blok. Tak ada ni orang pun semua duduk dalam tak ada orang tak ni keluar air satu.
The cross beam inside the house collapsed. But fortunately, my children were unharmed. We all pray that there will be no more tornadoes. I'm really terrified.
Volunteers returned once again on November 13th to deliver consolation cash and their blessings.
Disasters have become more frequent because our hearts are out of balance. We should be vigilant and reverent. If we can nurture a heart of compassion, we can make the world a more harmonious place.
Although we have different religious beliefs, we are in fact all the same.
Some local residents also decided to donate their money to help others in need. Reaching out to help others in spite of their own hardships is indeed a testament of true greatness.
In Penang, Malaysia, Tzu Chi provides 2 types of aid for the students at Padang Tembak Elementary School. One is tuition money and the other includes lunch subsidies. On the recent home visit, Tzu Chi volunteers brought along students and parents from the Tzu Chi Academy, Penang, to gain some hands-on experience in caring for the less fortunate. At the end of the day, many parents and students walked away with a deeper appreciation of the blessings in their life.
Here in Malaysia's Penang, Nushoot Scholarship recipient Rohani's family of 7 is crammed into a 1-bedroom apartment.
Her grandfather sleeps on the balcony, so whenever it rains, he gets wet. It's very sad.
Tagging along with Tzu Chi volunteers, students and parents from the Tzu Chi Academy Penang are visiting scholarship recipients to learn about caring for the less fortunate.
When he was resting, he told me that he uses 1 ringgit to purchase food to eat. I feel the food one can buy with 1 ringgit is most likely really simple, or not a lot of food.
When my daughter visited the homes, she saw for herself the difference between hers and theirs. This experience is better than constantly reminding her of the blessings in her life.
Many of the students that attend Padang Tembak Elementary School come from low-income families and live in public housing units. During the home visitations, volunteers gift the recipients with Tzu Chi's instant rice and promote the virtues of vegetarianism. And at the end of the day, for the Tzu Chi Academy students, the hands-on experience they've gained is worth more than money can buy.
Today we take a look at the lives of two Tzu Chi University graduate radio announcer Gao Jingxia and tech webpage editor Cai Han-Wei, as well as one Tzu Chi College of Technology student, to see how a Tzu Chi education is allowing those in the tech field realize their dreams and be the best they can be.
每个人家里电影都不一样。
In this recording studio, sound effects are a button
是
away.
晒衣服的时候，
Putting on her headphones, Gao Jingxia enters the world on her own.
那时候，只要听到哪里有好医师，不是喜医师有名气，而是恐惧。
This recording studio has become Gao Jingxia's second home. It is from here that she speaks to the world.
Doing sound effects and music can be a really dry and thankless job. However, you can always find areas that are fun and areas that one enjoys.
音效奖入围的有高金霞、罗生若想。
Able to work alone behind the scenes and bring a sense of imagination to the job is what makes Jingxia so good at her work. In fact, the 8-year veteran has been nominated for the Golden Bell Awards for 2 consecutive years.
I can use this job to share heartwarming stories. Things that I found to be interesting or worthwhile, I can introduce to others over the radio.
Jingxia says much of her success in bringing goodness to the job is from her Tzu Chi education. The same holds true for Cai Han-Wei.
Lightly draw, press down harder. It has both thick and thin settings.
Discussing cell phones is daily fare for Cai Han-Wei, as consumer electronics are not only his passion, but his job.
拨号，很自动，它可以把。
Editor of a foreign consumer electronics webpage, Tai regularly writes about new and upcoming products.
It is important to stay abreast of new developments. Only then will I be able to introduce the ins and outs of new products to my readers.
Making the world of consumer electronics easy to understand for the public is Cai Han-Wei. Behind all the technology we use nowadays is miles of code written by people like Wu Jiafan, who only in his 3rd year of college has already written a program being used by DaAi TV.
这个就是加饭做的，这个页面他会在这边去检查，
帮你们节省人力，对不对？
对，不然我们就得用手动去看。
那有了这个工具之后，我们可以
With his program, we can do very accurate file management and sorting. That's a big help.
Li Jianxin is Wu Jiafan's internship mentor. Working as both a student and intern, Wu Jiafan receives government funding. However, recipients like himself have to maintain high grades as well as correct behavior in both school and on the job.
In school, I wrote programs because they were required by class or my teacher. But when I saw that what I wrote was actually being used, I was quite happy, and it gave what I was doing more meaning.
He is learning that what he studies in school can be used in the workplace. This brings him a sense of confidence, and this is where I have seen him grow the most.
Each of these Tzu Chi graduates or students is showing how, when working in the field of technology, the humanitarian spirit taught by Tzu Chi remains an important source of power and inspiration.
For many people, suffering cancer is like receiving a death sentence. Besides possibly having to undergo surgery, the toll on the body from chemotherapy can be excruciating. But instead of indulging in self-pity and simply awaiting their final days, a group of cancer patients here in Taiwan has decided to live their life to the fullest instead. They have come together to form a bicycle club and called themselves the Knight Who Never Yelled. And beginning in 2010, members of the club circumnavigate Taiwan by bike once every year. We now join them on this year's endeavor.
Repeating what I have said last year, I have lived healthily for another year. Time sure flies. This is now our 4th year. Let's vow to be around for 40 more years.
group of cyclists sets off from Taipei to begin their endeavor. The city is the starting point and finish of their journey. Unfortunately, the company runs into drizzles brought by chilly northeastern seasonal winds. While some put on a raincoat, others decide to endure the rain and wind. Worn down by the elements and hunger, the riders finally make it to a rest stop where hot ginger soup awaits them. The riders recharge themselves by sipping the soup and eating bananas. Most of them have lived with cancer for over 5 years and are in stable condition, but there is one exception.
Currently, I need to take a pill every day as part of my targeted therapy, but it has many side effects. For a while, I couldn't even get out of bed because it was having such a toll on my body. But I tried very hard to lead a normal life.
Dong used to work for a renowned computer company and was at the top of the pyramid making very good money. However, after turning 50, he realized that his health had been ruined as a result. Now he fights for his future just like the rest of the cyclists. At this leg of the endeavor, everyone begins to slow down because the Suhua Highway is hilly and winding. Finally, when nearing Dongao, something happens.
I didn't slip nearly the exit of the tunnel back there. There were just too many cars and semis. I was forced right over the drainage in which my wheels caught, so I fell. The last time I participated, I decided to ride on the train for this section and missed out, so this time I thought I should complete it.
The road is really slippery. I went over a piece of cardboard and my bike just slipped. I'm alright, but I'm bruised here. I have a carbon fiber bike. Due to the hard fall yesterday, the frame has been fractured.
For the cyclists, this is a journey to reverse their fortunes. Once they thought they would lead a normal life just like everyone else, but now they can only believe that by pedaling wholeheartedly can they remain invincible.
Why do we call ourselves the knights who never yield? Because whether it's our body or just life in general, when we take a fall, we just get up, dust ourselves off, and move on.
In Taiwan, cancer continues to be one of the country's top killers, and currently every 6 minutes, someone in Taiwan is diagnosed with cancer. However, cancer not only affects those who have been diagnosed with the disease, but their family and loved ones as well. Thankfully, there are organizations that have been set up to help both cancer sufferers and their families get through this difficult time in the brightest way possible. Let's take a look.
Treatment and recovery were both difficult. After I underwent surgery, I was often in pain. Sometimes the pain was so strong that I had to scream. However, I feel that I am blessed in that I had an optimistic view on my situation. After I was done screaming, I would tell my husband, "It's okay, today the pain was at 100, but tomorrow it will be at 99.
Now 52 years old, Xie Mingyao remains active and full of laughter. She sees the dark times during her cancer as a lesson that she hopes to share with other cancer patients in the form of a documentary. Today, Xie Mingyao looks like the picture of health. It is hard to imagine that she previously suffered from one of the most painful forms of cancer, stomach cancer, and eventually had her stomach and spleen entirely removed, as well as 1/3 of her pancreas and 29 lymph nodes.
With those close to me, I spoke my final words. With my daughters, I told them where to shop, whom to talk to for relationship problems, stuff like that. I told them, although I won't be there in the future, there will still be many around them who love them. After I calmly finished speaking, I told them that the most important thing is that they have to take care of their father. In the future, they will have people looking after them, but their father won't.
Although at times calm and collected, during her surgery and chemo, Xie Mingyao and her family went through periods of intense doubt and fear.
反应来自于我先生，因为他陪我去，他站在我
My husband would go with me to hear the updates, and one time, as usual, he was standing behind me and his hands were on my shoulders. But that time, I felt pressure there and realized he was tightening his grip onto my shoulders. I didn't know what he was thinking at the time, but now I can guess that he was extremely nervous and was having a hard time letting go.
很紧张，或者是说很不舍。
For Xie Mingyao and many others, Taipei's Hope Foundation for Cancer Care has become a sort of second home and a place where they can recharge and rekindle hope. Here, classes are free of charge and used to help cancer patients find a positive state of mind. On call are also nurses ready to offer free health consultations and medical information.
We've put together informative booklets for almost every type of cancer. These help the patients and their families get the proper information from the beginning and help them beat their cancer.
Su Lianying's grandfather, grandmother, and sister have all been diagnosed with cancer. As a nurse, Su also saw many cancer patients on the job. Seeing the suffering around her, she wanted to do something more to help, and thus the Hope Foundation was born.
Even though I have a lot of professional knowledge and experience in this field, I still have no way of ensuring my family enjoys the complete holistic care during the recovery process. So several doctors, nurses, social workers, and I, all of us with family members who have cancer, we decided to start this foundation.
To date, since its founding, the Hope Foundation has helped over 300,000 cancer patients to not give up on themselves or their future.
We go to the Philippines, Manila at the end of the show, where Tzu Chi volunteers travel to Tondo district to care for fire survivors who lost their family members and belongings in a recent fire. Besides offering emotional support, volunteers also give to them daily necessities. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.